Okay. All right, so that does that. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, my name's Andreas Karelas. Can you hear me okay? Yes. My name is Andreas Karelas, and I am the founder and executive director of RE-volve, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. But first, I don't know if you all are feeling as overwhelmed as I am after just hearing all of that. I mean, it is exceptionally scary what's going on. And so to lighten the mood a little bit, not lighten it, but just to give a little bit of sort of glimmer of hope, I've got a few facts here just to share about solar energy and sort of the incredible growth that it's experiencing, and the fact that, I recognize what a lot of folks have said about us not relying on technology to solve this, and I agree with that, and I agree with what Mariana said earlier about really at the core of this, it's about reconnecting with each other, reconnecting with nature, with creation. I feel that that is the fundamental change that needs to happen, but we also have an extremely short amount of time to rapidly transform our technological infrastructure in order to continue to give us time to rebuild those connections to each other, right? Because we really only have, we've talked about the IPCC a bunch today, we have somewhere about less than 15 years to really transform our energy infrastructure to a clean, renewable energy-based infrastructure before we cross that tipping point. So we really don't have time to not focus as much attention as possible on the technological shift, because that really is at the core of what needs to happen. There's all this going on, and what really, it's actually a pretty simple solution. I mean, it seems like this is so crazy and it's so overwhelming, and really we currently get our energy from burning dirty stuff, and it pollutes the energy, it pollutes the atmosphere. And what we need to do is use less energy and create that energy using clean, renewable sources that don't pollute the atmosphere. And hey, you know what? We actually have all those technologies. They're here. We just need to deploy them. And one of the things that's really great is that in the United States, particularly Silicon Valley, we are pretty good at making technologies happen really fast and deploy them rapidly. So I'm just going to give you a few facts just to kind of lighten up, give you some sort of positive note to think about. On Friday, 2 days ago, Google, who you all are familiar with, announced its partnership with SunPower, a solar manufacturer based in the United States, based here in California, a $250 million program to do solar leasing for residential homes across the country. All right, so Google has invested $100 million in that deal that it announced on Friday, and that brings Google to $1 billion worldwide that it's invested in renewable energy. All right, that's fact number one. Number two is, in the last 4 years, from 2010 to 2014, we have seen solar energy deployment in the United States increase 418%. 418%. In California, over the last 30 years, we installed 1 gigawatt of solar energy. In 2013 alone, we installed a 2nd gigawatt of solar energy. So we doubled the amount of solar in the state in 1 year. Right? Solar jobs are growing at 10 times the national average. 10 times the national average. There are more solar workers in the United States, about double, than there are coal miners. So all the talk about coal mining jobs being lost, we have double that in solar, and it's growing at 10 times the national average. Here, to me, is what's most telling, this last fact. Over the last 6 months, 80% of new electricity installed in the United States was renewable energy. It was renewable energy. 3 of those 6 months, 3 of the last 6 months, all new electricity in the United States, 100% was renewable energy. And of that 80% over the last 6 months, half of it was solar. Half of it was solar. Now this, keep in mind, is without a federal policy, Without a federal policy on renewables, without a federal policy on climate change, this is happening as we speak because the technology is ready and because people are becoming aware of it and making it happen, right? So this is really exciting to me because it means that we don't necessarily, yes, we need policy, yeah, absolutely, and we need it fast, we needed it yesterday, but we can't wait for policy to make this change for us. What if we were told, what if that, that cartoon that, from 2060, what if we were told the government never came around? They never did anything on climate change. We had to do it ourselves. What would we do? If we were told that today, what would we do? What would our actions be like if we were to think it's up to us to make this happen ourselves? What we would do is we would change the energy that we use, we would change the way that we use it, and we would transform it among ourselves, among individuals, among communities, among the way that we kind of deploy technology and run our economy. So that was just a side note that I had to get out before I start my presentation. So, as I mentioned, my name is Andreas Karelas, and I'm the founder and executive director of RE-volve. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. First, thank you so much, everyone, for coming here today. It's so important that we have these moments to come together and look each other face to face and talk about this in real life, in real time to each other. And thank you all for organizing this. It's an honor to be here. I want to talk to you a few moments about what we call at RE-volve, people-funded renewable energy. A few years ago, when I started RE-volve, I saw this huge challenge, which I think we're all facing today, which is that those of us who care about the environment, who care about climate change, ask ourselves the fundamental question: what can I do? What can I do that's going to have a meaningful impact? And that challenge is still facing us today. At the same time, we see solar energy financing options that have been discussed earlier, solar leasing, solar power purchase agreements that allow for people to put up solar and save money on their electric bill. This is happening across the country, and which is why we're seeing these kind of deployments of solar rise so rapidly. But one of the groups that's left out typically in solar financing options are community-scale nonprofits and cooperatives that serve their community. And this is for a number of reasons: tax reasons, creditworthiness, and the size of the projects. But I saw this great opportunity. Here are people who want to do something about climate change, and here are local community groups that want to go solar, that want to save money on their electric bill, and want to demonstrate their commitment to the environment to their community. How can we link these two together? And so we created this, what we call the Solar Seed Fund, which I'm going to talk to you about in a few moments, about how we bring those two together. So RE-volve is a nonprofit organization. It was founded in 2011, and we're based in San Francisco. And our mission, fundamentally, is to empower people to take action on climate change by contributing, by donating to solar energy projects that serve their community. We do that through a revolving fund that we call the Solar Seed Fund. So I'll explain to you in this graphic how exactly that works. We raise the money through crowdfunding. Is everybody familiar with crowdfunding? Crowdfunding is essentially a grassroots fundraiser that was put online. And it allows for you to reach a much larger audience, which allows you to collect small donations, but from enough people, you can actually amass quite a bit of money. We take that money that people donate, people who care about climate change and seeing a clean energy transition, and we invest it. Now, we don't donate it, we don't give the solar away, we invest it. We invest it in solar energy projects that serve local community centers. So nonprofits, cooperatives, your local school, your local church, your local health clinic or homeless shelter. And that community center saves 15% or more on their electric bill. They pay zero down, and they start saving money on day one. They pay us back over a 20-year solar lease agreement, and we reinvest those lease payments with interest into more and more solar energy projects. So each project pays for the next one, and for the next one, and for the next one. So it's a pay-it-forward model for solar energy. All right, I'm going to wrap it up in just a moment, but just to show you quickly the potential of this growth curve. So if you look at the blue curve, what that is if we were just giving the solar away. If we raised money from the community, put up a solar project and said, hey, that's great, which it is, but that's how much solar we could install over that time period. Whereas with this revolving fund, as the community pays us back with interest and we reinvest it in the next project and we reinvest that in the next project, it allows for this self-sustaining revolving fund to continually grow. To give you a little bit of a frame of reference, when we have 100 systems done, the revolving fund, those lease revenues from those 100 systems, will be able to generate enough money to pay for one new system every single month. Those projects will then get to reinvest into more and more solar energy projects, which grow the fund faster and faster, and as you see, it has an exponential curve. So we've done 2 projects so far. We're a young organization. Our first was the Shaw Anderson Dance Center in Berkeley, and the second was the Kahila Community Synagogue in Piedmont, which is an Interfaith Power and Light member. These 2 projects alone are saving 15%, the community centers are saving 15% on their electric bill. They're demonstrating the benefits of solar energy to their community members. They're demonstrating their commitment to the environment, to the community. And these 2 projects alone, during their 20-year lease, the lease payments from these 2 projects will pay for 6 additional solar energy projects. And those 6 additional solar energy projects will reinvest their lease revenues into more and more solar energy projects going forward. We empowered 500 people to fund these projects. Those 500 people weren't just from California. They were from 32 states in the country, and they were from 17 different countries. And they raised $70,000 in total. Now, this is a group of people that's committed to seeing this happen and using their dollars, not in a way that's just going to pay for one project and stop, but see their donation be continually invested in solar energy and grow and grow and grow. We've had a few mentions in the press, and we've gotten some great support from the San Francisco Foundation, Toyota Together Green Fellowship, and the Yahoo Employee Foundation. And thank you all so much for your time. Thank you, Keith, for having us, and I look forward to the rest of the discussion. Thank you.